humans, I'm Yoshiller, and welcome back to some more Pokemon BATAW. So folks, Pokemon Home was recently updated to become compatible with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and so I've gone ahead and transferred a bunch of Pokemon from previous Pokemon games into Scarlet and Violet so I can have a team that is battle ready that primarily consists of Pokemon that were previously inaccessible. However, these Pokemon are currently not allowed in ranked battles, so instead of doing a ranked battle, I've been going ahead and finding random opponents using the Pokeportal Link Battle random search function, and I intend to do another 6v6 battle today, but the previous 6v6 battles I've been recording with this team, I have been winning, but I've been primarily winning because I've been sweeping or getting my opponents into some sort of stalemate thanks to one or two specific Pokemon on my team. So I'm hoping that my other Pokemon will get a proper chance to shine in this battle, because the whole point of these past couple of videos is to showcase what these newly accessible Pokemon can do. And with any luck, hopefully my opponent here will also be bringing Pokemon that were previously inaccessible, but we shall see. My opponent's name is Gengar, so maybe my opponent is bringing a Gengar, or maybe that's a trap. Maybe you're trying to get me to bring a bunch of Pokemon that counter Gengar, and then you're gonna bring a bunch of Pokemon that counter those. But I digress. Let's see the rules here. Yep, we have a 6v6 Pokemon where all 6v6 single battle where all Pokemon will be set to level 50. Here's the team: Breloom, Delphox, Gogoat, Arcanine, Zoroark, and Goodra, and then we'll go ahead and change the music. As much as I love the AI Professor battle music, I probably shouldn't use that song every single time, right? Let's see. Oh, and immediately I see a Dialga and a Regieleki. Those two Pokemon were previously inaccessible. All right. Well, let's see if I can take them down. It's all about how I start, and I'm going to go ahead and start with Zoroark, because that's what I've been doing for the past couple of videos. And I think Zoroark should be disguised as probably Delphox. So maybe he attempts to hit it with a ghost-type move with Mimikyu or something, and then it does nothing, and then I get a free turn. Mimikyu normally would be the bane of my existence, but my team here actually deals with Mimikyu reasonably well. Back at the start of Sword and Shield, the two Pokemon that gave me a hard time were Mimikyu and Dragapult, primarily because I couldn't use Fake Out on them, because they're ghost types. But now, with this team, I'm not super worried. You're starting off with Scizor. Interesting. Well, if you're starting off with Scizor, I have suspicion to believe that you're going to try to set up with it using Agility or Swords Dance, so let's go ahead and trick onto it. And if you're going straight for the Bullet Punch, great, then you will exclusively be using Bullet Punch. Already terrestrializing. Normally that would be worrisome for the fact that maybe you're doing this on the first turn and I'm ill prepared, but I like to think that I'm decently prepared, because you think I'm using Delphox, you terrestrialize into Terra Water. Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with the strategy, hoping that you could take a hit. You're setting up, I know it, but you're also slow. So this trick will go on to you. Now you'll be stuck using one move anytime you send the Scizor out, and if you were going for Swords Dance or Agility like I think you are, then you're about to be in trouble. And I got a Metronome. Ain't that fun? Yep. Enjoy your Swords Dance. And now that you've already terrestrialized, I don't have to worry about any of your other Pokemon terrestrializing for the remainder of the battle. So that eases me, or puts me at ease a little bit, and nobody ever expects the double trick, right? You're probably gonna switch. I mean, I could switch, but I think you're gonna switch, and then whatever's coming in is gonna get stuck with the Metronome. I'm gonna mess up all the items on your Pokemon right now. Here comes Dialga! All right. Hello, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to dealing with you, but how would you like to have a Metronome, an item that can benefit you, but I'm sure isn't as beneficial as the item that you're currently holding, which is gonna be what, like an Assault Vest? Okay, so you get a Metronome, I get Leftovers. Okay, defensive Dialga, I've seen this before. All right, well now it is time for me to switch over to Goodra, my special tank, because you're probably gonna use a dragon move, and my Hisui-Goodra should take this like a pro, because she is now part Steel type thanks to her Hisuian form. All right, Goodra, you got this. Earth, oh wow, I didn't actually think you were gonna go straight for the Earth Power, but that's okay. Goodra can even take another one of those, but I best save her to deal with Mimikyu and potentially Regieleki later. She can't actually fight Dialga head on too well. So it's times like these when I'm glad that I have two grass types on my team. I could terrestrialize Goodra over to Terra Bug, which I acknowledge is a weird Terra type, but that's what I gave her because it resists both fighting and ground, her two weaknesses. But now Broom's got it. Broom's got it. All right, now you might also have a dragon move, a steel move, and maybe like a water or a fire move. So I'm gonna switch back out, and we're gonna go over. Let's go back over to Goodra, because now Goodra will really take the. Okay, you're switching. That's fine. The important thing is you were no longer holding Leftovers. Ah, and here's the Mimikyu. Oh man, then I'm glad that I switched. If I knew you were gonna switch, I probably would have gone for a Spore, but you were Dialga. I had a feeling you were gonna outspeed Breloom, and I didn't want to take my chances in case you knew like Flamethrower or something, which for some reason like every Dragon type Pokemon can learn. But all right, this strategy is fairly simple. Yep, okay, I'm glad you're attacking because my Goodra has Gooey, which means every time you attack me head on, your attacks or your speed stat is gonna get lowered. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use Chilling Water, which every time it lands, it will lower your attack stat. So now you're at -1 speed, -1 attack, and I've broken your Disguise, which is Mimikyu's ability that always gives me a hard time, means it can always take a hit. All right, now you are still gonna outspeed my Goodra because Goodra is really, really slow. Okay, you have Shadow Sneak, so be it. Oh, and I survive! Oh, it's times like these when I'm glad that I gave a couple of defense EVs to my Goodra. That Gooey ability is coming into play. So now you're at -2 speed and -2 attack. I get the feeling you're not gonna switch though. I get the feeling you're just gonna go for Shadow Sneak again. So go ahead, do it. Make my day. Boom, and then Gooey will activate again. Now you're at -3 speed, so my Breloom should absolutely outspeed you. Awesome job, Goodra. You did what you needed to do. You took the hits and you activated your ability. Awesome stuff. All right, so now we go back over to Breloom, and then I can use Breloom as my win condition. Because as long as I put one thing to sleep, I'm set to go usually for the rest of the match. And since you're slower than me, I should be able to put you to sleep. Even if you switch, Spore will still go on to whatever Pokemon you send in next because you didn't bring any Grass-type Pokemon, which would be the way you'd get around using Spore. Or if you have like Goldango or something, which you didn't bring. Salamence, that must be Salamence. Hey, wait a minute, I just realized you didn't bring a Gengar. I guess you just like being named Gengar and having Gengar as your icon, but you don't actually like competing with Gengar. Yeah, it's gotten harder and harder to use as the years have gone on. And then you have a Lumberry. All right, well, that leads me to believe that one of the moves you know is probably Outrage, or you just happen to have a Lumberry. Well, I've got a Pokemon that's got a Lumberry. That's my Arcanine. So we'll go ahead and switch out, because I know Breloom will not outspeed this Salamence. So we'll switch into Arcanine, because I predict you're going to use a Flying-type move, and even so, this Arcanine's got Intimidate, so we're going to go ahead and lower your physical attack stat. Let's see, Dragon Claw. Okay, you have do you have Outrage? Because if not, then why do you have the Lumberry? Well, I don't think you have a ground-type move. I think you can learn Earthquake, but I don't think you're going to use it, so I'm going to play with Fire. Rather, I'm playing with a Fire Rock type, and I'm more so playing with the rocks than the fire. It doesn't matter. All right, you're switching out. Whatever Rock Tomb hits, it's going to lower the speed of it. Madagascar, let's see what we got here. Hippowdon, well, hey, that's already super slow, so I'm not super worried about that. I know you want it. I know you want to use a ground type on this, because you're like, oh, it's a Fire Rock type. It's 4 times weak to ground, but I'd be a fool to just leave Arcanine in there. So let's switch back over to Breloom, who will once again be my win condition, and Breloom would have outspeeded you from the get-go anyway, but now that I've lowered your speed once, I see no reason why Breloom shouldn't outspeed you, and then I can go back to the strategy I was trying to do before when you sent in that Salamence. So here's the Earthquake. Breloom should be able to take this. Good girl. All right. And even if this Hippowdon knows Whirlwind, like the one that I fought in the previous video, I can still pivot my way around it. So here's the Spore. Otherwise, I've kind of handicapped the rest of your team, right? Your Scizor is locked into one move. And even if you choose to use Bullet Punch, the Choice Scarf doesn't benefit you. You're locked into Choice Scarf, Bullet Punch for the rest of the match. Breloom, welcome back. Not worried about this. All right, so there's the Spore. So you did reset your stats by switching out Mimikyu, but even then, I'm still not worried because the strategy only requires me to put one of your Pokemon to sleep and set up a substitute. So as long as I can KO this Mimikyu while I have a substitute up, I'll be good to go. So, there's the Poison Heal, great. Yeah, that Sandstorm's doing more to you than it's doing to me. I imagine you brought that Sandstorm because it stacks with your Scizor and your Dialga, but it doesn't stack with your Scizor anymore because you switched your Scizor over to Water type, but it's whatever. You don't really have a Sandstorm team, though, so the only Pokemon that's really going to benefit from it at this point would be your Dialga. But whatever. Okay, now we're going to go for Bulldoze. All right, here we go. Mimikyu's still going to outspeed me because it's really fast and really strong, but thankfully it's still asleep for another turn. And this Bulldoze combined with a Sandstorm should deal enough to take you out. Great, I don't even need the Sandstorm at this point. The Bulldoze was just enough. Goodbye, Mimikyu! And thankfully my substitute is still up, so I feel pretty confident that I should have this battle in the bag. Let's see, you still have Dialga, you still have Regieleki. I'm hoping you send in Dialga next, so I can start chipping away at that. But otherwise, since you don't have a grass type, there's the Dialga. Oh, asking you sometimes shall receive. All right, are you guys ready to watch Breloom here take down a legendary? There you go. All right, let's do it. The strategy remains the same. And I know you're holding a metronome because I tricked that onto you. Boom, flash cannon. All right, that might break the substitute, but it doesn't really matter right now. All right, and since I know you're not holding leftovers anymore, I could try to go straight for the Leech Seed and start sapping away your health, but I would like to try and get another substitute off first, because you're asleep for 2 to 5 turns, so you're asleep for 2 turns no matter what. All right, so let's go for, substitute first. I was gonna do Bulldoze first, but no, that's okay. Because I need to get off like 2 Bulldozes to make you slow down, because you're a legendary Pokemon, so it's usually safe to assume that your speed stat is decent. There's only a couple of slow legendary Pokemon. There's like only like a handful. And I don't think Dialga is one of them. So now we can, oh, see, look at that, it already woke up. Look at world's luckiest player right here. Already woke up. All right, well, let's see if this Bulldoze goes a long way. I literally needed one more turn. Just one more, so I could have done Bulldoze and then Leech Seed, but it's fine, it's fine. All right, boom. The good news is you don't have your Sandstorm anymore, so that's not gonna chip away at me. I'm just gonna keep healing. Now, can I take a Flash Cannon? Probably not. You are a legendary Pokemon, and I don't have that many EVs in my special defense. In fact, I think I put them all into HP. And I still have to deal with Regieleki in the back. So I think I'm gonna Terrestrialize into Terrafire, take the hit, and then go for Spore again. And probably after I use Bulldoze on you one more time, I'll outspeed you. I get the feeling if you're running Leftovers Dialga, you probably didn't put any EVs into speed. So I think one more Bulldoze will put me in position to outspeed you, and then I can just go for Leech Seed and substitute in Spore over and over and over again. So here we go. So now I've got the fire, and I already outspeed you. Oh, okay. Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have Terrestrialized, but it's okay. It's okay. The only other Pokemon I probably would have benefited from Terrestrializing at this point probably would have been Arcanine, and that would have been Terra Grass. It's fine. Great. Well, this is even better. So we'll go ahead and set up the substitute. All right. I need you to stay asleep this turn. There. And now that I've Terrestrialized, we can go ahead and get all those sparkles out of the way. All right. Boom. Gone. Awesome. All right. There's the Poison Heal. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, and now that I know that I outspeed you, I can absolutely Bulldoze on you again, and I see no reason to use Leech Seed right now, because I want to KO you while the substitute is still up, so I can keep setting up on everything else. So, there, now you're awake, whatever. All right, there's the Earth Power, that's right. I already forgot that you had that. Doesn't really matter at this point, because now I know for a fact that I outspeed you, so now you're gonna get stuck in what I like to refer to as the Spore Loop. So, let's go again. Heal up a little bit. Boom. If you could be asleep for one bonus turn, that would be greatly beneficial because you've been waking up immediately each time, huh? There you go. Spore again. Boom. Yeah, it's just, I can easily KO you at this point just by using Bulldoze, but it's integral that I KO you while the substitute is up, because that way, if you choose to switch into Salamence or Regieleki, I can take a hit and then put them to sleep. The problem with Salamence, though, is that I can't use Bulldoze on it, but that's why I've got Leech Seed. And that's why the biggest counters to this Breloom are gonna be grass flying types. Oh my god, dude! World's luckiest player right here. Dialga, stay asleep. My goodness. All right, with any luck, I'll run out of Earth powers. Although you don't use up PP when you're asleep, unless you're specifically using Sleep Talk, then you do. But otherwise, you don't use PP, I don't think. So boom, go back to sleep. Stay asleep for like 3 turns for a change. Golly, all right? So yes, this counts as turn 1. Anytime you see the Z's physically, that counts as a turn. So when I was slower before, it didn't count as a sleep turn until the following turn, so to speak. But all right, Dialga, asleep, great. He's taking his time because he realizes he's just gonna get stuck here. When my opponent's, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, so you may as well just keep going, right? So here's the substitute, great. Stay asleep. Thank you. All right. We're almost there, okay? And then I get an extra turn to heal up 20 HP. It takes 40 HP to make the substitute, so that means after this turn, I'll have restored all the health that I took to use the substitute. All right? Now, if you're asleep for 2 more turns, then I can absolutely take out this Dialga while still having a substitute in effect. So boom. There we go. There's 1. If Dialga is still asleep this turn, I'm good to go. Man, am I glad that I tricked those leftovers off of it. There we go, finally! Getting a little bit of luck on my side. All right, restored my health. And then after this turn, I'll be back to full health. And then I should just Bulldoze it again. And I was gonna say, if you switch over to Salamence, no big deal. All right, Dialga down. That's Mimikyu and Dialga. Yeah, all things considered, my opponent here has a pretty obnoxious team, a well-rounded team, but a pretty obnoxious one. Mimikyu and Dialga and Regieleki. Goodness. But there, that's a Pokemon that was previously inaccessible prior to the Pokemon Home update, so I finally got to fight something that was only accessible up to now. Here's the other, Regieleki, the fastest Pokemon in the freaking game, and a shiny one at that. Well, the strategy remains the same, and I know you can't terrestrialize it, and you're not holding an air balloon, so here we go. But I'm gonna have to use like Bulldoze like 3 times just to finally take care of this. Because this thing is so freaking fast. Base 200 speed, like are you kidding me? Doesn't matter. Strategy remains the same. All right, so Spore. There you go, there you go, there you go. And I don't trust that I can take a hit from it. So we're gonna hopefully just keep the strategy going, all right? So do I wanna go straight for the substitute or do I wanna go straight for Bulldoze? I'll go for Bulldoze just because I keep fearing that he's gonna wake up immediately. So we'll go for Bulldoze and then hopefully one of my Pokemon in the back will, oh wow! That did more than half? Well hey, if this Regieleki is still asleep this next turn and I'm praying that it is, then I'll take it out right here. And it is, all right! Well, the bad news is I won't have a substitute set up anymore, but that's okay. The good news is that the 3 biggest threats on my opponent's team are now down. Regieleki, Dialga, and Mimikyu were the 3 that I was most worried about. Like, yeah, I still have to worry about Salamence. I'm not super worried about Hippowdon, and Scizor is stuck into using 1 move, and it's just gonna use, when it comes out, I'm guaranteed that it's just gonna use Bullet Punch, and it's not gonna be able to do anything to Delphox. So, Madagascar, okay. I think that's a bad play on your part because I know for a fact that I'm already gonna outspeed this thing. You should have gone to Salamence, sir. All right, well, let's go ahead and Spore it up. There you are. You are asleep. I know why you went to Hippowdon because you're like, oh, the Pokemon on the field's a fire type. I'll just go ahead and use Earthquake real quickly, but nah. You gotta know more than just the type matchups, sir. Type matchups are a good start, but nah. Now, you just gave me an excuse to set up some more. This is why I keep saying Breloom is my win condition, all right? Because now the rest of the battle is just gonna be this. So we're gonna substitute. Boom, baby. There we go. Okay, great. Well, you know what? This is another battle where it's primarily gonna be dominated by my Breloom, but I would not have been in this situation had it not been for my Goodra and my Arcanine. So at least they got to do a little something, something. And my Zoroark for that matter. My Zoroark tricking the Scizor at the beginning is the reason this is all possible. So, all right, well, good job, Breloom. There's the Leech Seed. All right, boom, baby. There we go. At this point, I'm not super worried. Salamence is like the last thing that could even take out stuff on my team at this point. All right, yeah. I mean, look, yeah, obviously the Hippowdon can too, but because you're so slow, because you're meant to be a tank, I'm not worried. The fact that Breloom outspeeds you from the get-go is the reason I'm not worried. And I still have Gogoat in the back if I really need another bulky Pokemon. Here we go. Boom, baby. All right, I will take that health. Thank you. Yeah, I know you're not holding leftovers because your Dialga was holding the leftovers, and I tricked it off of him. Now my Zoroark's got the leftovers. All right, so back to sleep with you. I gotta make sure that I'm actually clicking the right move too, because sometimes I keep talking and then I become fearful that I'm gonna select the wrong move and that my whole strategy isn't gonna work. Not that it would have been the worst thing in the world if I just used substitute again there, but no, you wanna put him to sleep first. There we go. Actually, I could spam substitute because I get 20 HP from the toxic orb and then I get 20 HP from sapping your health. So I actually would restore the amount of HP it would take to make a substitute every turn. But all right, yeah, otherwise, Scizor's not a problem. He might just go to Salamence at this point, but then I would just put that to sleep. So I think it is safe to say that I've got this battle won. Even if he switched over to Salamence right now, I would have still switched back into Arcanine and just intimidated it. So as soon as that Dialga went down, things were looking good, and as soon as the Regieleki went down, things were looking especially good for me. So I feel pretty confident that I've got this battle in the bag. Delphox and Gogoat didn't really get to do too much, but hey, at least I got to showcase some other stuff. And this is exactly why Breloom is a win condition. So I hope to not have too many battles where I just win like this over and over. I mean, I guess I kinda do. If Breloom keeps winning like this, why should I be against it? But I'll have other battles where other Pokemon besides Breloom are in effect. Oh, and we've got 3 minutes? Okay, I can win this by timeout at this point. I'm curious to see how my opponent starts to panic as this battle nears its close. But I'll tell you what, I could just sit here and run out the clock. I could just sit here and do that. But you would have to take out 3 of my Pokemon in order to win. So even if you were to take out Breloom, you'd still have to take, oh, well, actually Goodra's already down, right? So you'd still have to take out another Pokemon. Still, I'm gonna go ahead and go for Leech Seed. Now it doesn't matter. I was kind of like predicting a switch. but you are adamant on leaving this Hippowdon in. I thought you were gonna switch because the sandstorm wore off, but it doesn't matter. At this point, I'm kind of playing for timeout. So boom, substitute wears off, no worries. All of this is adding to the timer, so me taking the health from the Leech Seed, that's still adding to the timer. And then I still outspeed you, so we'll go for Spore, and if you choose to switch now, okay, it doesn't matter. Hippowdon goes back to sleep, great. And then we gotta waste time with the animation of the Z's coming out. There we go, 2 minutes left. Very good, very good, very good. I don't even need to take out the Salamence at this point. All right, well, it's times like these that I'm glad that Pokemon games have a timer. I think the timer was first introduced in Gen 5, right? Because people were doing stuff like this in Gen 4 and that just wasn't gonna cut it. Here we go. And he forfeited, yeah. All right, that's pretty par for the course. Good job, Breloom! And of course, good games to my opponent, Gengar. You just didn't have a Gengar on your team, but you did have a pretty well-rounded team though. And I am thankful that you brought 2 Pokemon, Dialga and Regieleki, that were previously inaccessible. So I was able to showcase gameplay footage of those. And I imagine that won't be the last time that I see Dialga and Regieleki in this series. Far from it. But all right, everything came together. Goodra's Gooey, Breloom's Spore, Arcanine's Intimidate, Zoroark's Trick, the fact that my opponent thought that I was using a Delphox, it all worked out. But I've been using this exact team for the past couple of battles, so now I think it's time to give some other Pokemon a chance to rotate in some others. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some other teams ready. But for now, that wraps up this episode of Pokemon BATAW, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye-bye, humans! Whoosh! Hey, thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to show your support, the best things you can do are commenting and subscribing. If you want to know when a new video of mine goes out, you can receive a notification by clicking on the bell icon down below by the subscribe button. I also post updates regularly to my Twitter account, @RealYoshiller. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you all in the future. Bye-bye, humans! Whoosh!